Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your tarot reading. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Either way, thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to pull a traditional Celtic cross spread. Whatever message comes out is the message that Spirit has for you at this time. It's what you need to hear. I've set that intention with this deck and with my guides. So if you are here because this popped up on your feed, then this message is for you. And if you are here because of the title, this message is definitely for you. So let's get into the tarot. See what Spirit has for you at this time. Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the deck. Awesome. I love that. Divine timing, things starting to turn in your favor. So be sure and like the video for me. Leave a comment if you feel called to do so. Definitely subscribe to my channel. It helps me to grow, but it also helps others be able to get the messages the more that you interact. You guys have been really awesome at helping me with that, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. On the bottom of the deck, we had that Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is divine timing, right? This is things starting to turn in your favor, karma, good luck, all those good things, right? So it's also about cycles that we go through in our lives. And, our lives are cyclical. They go in different cycles, different patterns, different timelines. So I feel like this is the closing of one cycle and moving into a new one. And this is as far as the divine timing aspect, this is the right time for this. And there are changes that are happening. This may not be things that you can see at this moment. They may be things that are happening behind the scenes. So you may not see anything tangible right now in your 3D reality, but things are turning, things are changing, and they're starting to turn for the better for you. The situation is the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is about walking away. This is moving on from things that are no longer emotionally fulfilling, right? At one point, all 8 of these cups were very emotionally fulfilling for him, but now they're not. So he is moving on and, probably moving towards the unknown here, because it looks like he's walking off into the distance and there's nothing there, right? So this could be situations, this can be people, places, things that you are walking away from or needing to walk away from in order to move into a new cycle, right? If we want to have something new, you always have to have an ending to something. So there is this need to leave something behind in order to move forward, and then taking those lessons with you as you go. The blockage is the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is that inner knowing. This is your intuition. This is trusting that inner knowledge that you have, your connection to the divine, trusting yourself, trusting the downloads, the information that you get, or the messages that you're receiving. So I feel like this is a blockage, is your intuition itself being blocked. Maybe there's some kind of disconnect from your intuition. Maybe you need to work on your spiritual practice, or for whatever reason, something has you feeling disconnected. And it could just be because you are emotional at this time, right? Because the Eight of Cups is your emotions. Cups are our emotions. So this is probably something that is weighing heavy on you. Whether you've left it behind yet or you are in need of leaving it behind, it's going to weigh on you, right? Because it is an emotional thing. So that can really block your intuition. You may also be relying too heavily on others' opinions and not trusting yourself. So the root cause of this situation is the Sun card here. So the Sun is about joy, happiness, growth, right? This is my favorite card in the deck. You have the Child on this card, that is in reference to like your inner child, that vitality, that happiness, that youthful, just playfulness that you have. And with the Sun card, it's about being optimistic, being joyful. So I feel like this could really be about you needing to find your joy and optimism again, right? Like, I don't know why I thought of a pinata because that horse is dressed like that. I don't know. That just, I heard pinata. So, um, again, when you are going through an emotional time or needing to walk away from things, you're walking towards the unknown, right? And you're needing to trust yourself, trust your inner knowing, trust your intuition, and remain optimistic in that decision. Remain optimistic in the future and things coming in here, right? This can also be about like the light shining on things, because with the sun, I always think of like that light shining bright. And then the high priestess is about things behind the veil or things unseen. So, again, maybe this is you kind of needing to tap into that intuition in order to see the light, see the optimism, right? That light at the end of the tunnel in a situation. In the recent past, we have the Three of Swords. That is the energy that is currently affecting still this situation. Energy can linger for a long time, right? It's not something that's instantaneous. Even if you've moved on months in the past, it can still affect your current energy, right? So there was this like sadness, this pain, this releasing of some sort of situation here. Again, people, places, things. It's a general reading. So whatever it was that you walked away from, this was very painful, very emotional. Maybe some kind of disappointment. A situation didn't really work out the way you wanted it to, right? You could have put in a lot of work towards this, and it just was not fulfilling like you wanted it to be. So this Three of Swords is about releasing that pain and that sadness and growing from that and accepting the lesson again for what it is and leaving that in the past cycle, right? When you release these things, you can leave that in a past cycle and move into a new cycle. Again, with that Eight of Cups of moving on and that Wheel of Fortune, you don't want to take that previous pain and those previous lessons into a new cycle, right? You want to start fresh and, have that vitality and that joy. So the message from your higher self or your subconscious, we have the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is a gift from spirit. All aces are gifts from spirit that they're handing to you, right? Like this hand that's giving you this gift. This is some kind of new beginning. It can be an abundance. It can be, you starting a new job, a new house, a new stable relationship, whatever this is for you. There is this new beginning that is trying to come through here that they are wanting you to see and wanting you to focus on that and have optimism about it, right? Have hope and faith for this new beginning that is coming in, because it is happening for you. Spirit is giving you this gift of a new beginning. It's just going to be very stable. I always see the gate in the background in the Rider-Waite, which can lead to, this can be the gate to a job, a gate to like a new house, right? Like maybe you're moving homes, maybe literally moving on. It doesn't have to be. This can just be like that stability coming through, a new beginning, a new cycle, right? That is trying to come into your reality here. So in the immediate future, we have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is about releasing and kind of awakening to a situation, awakening to a new way of being, right? This is like a total rebirth card. The Judgment card is about surrendering to the lesson, surrendering to the present moment, releasing, and then forgiving yourself and others, right? That is the cycle of the Judgment card. So you could be going through a spiritual awakening that could be taking place right now. But it's also about, again, accepting the past and accepting these lessons and then moving forward and leaving those things behind you here. These people are literally like waking up out of their graves and awakening to this archangel calling to them, right? And then when I see that archangel, I always think, you are very protected through this. They are guiding you on this rebirth and this new beginning. I just feel like this is a whole new cycle for you. I mean, you've got Wheel of Fortune and Judgment, and then you've got the World here and your hopes and fears. So this could be a karmic cycle that's closing out and you kind of stepping into like a whole new way of being here, because the Judgment, like when I think rebirth, I think of like new identity. This could be you starting a whole new career or starting a whole new life on your own, or, moving away from people, places, and things, and then like having this whole restart to your life. Again, general reading, so it'll resonate differently for each of you on what that situation is. But I feel like you're just really needing to be optimistic about it and trusting your intuition ultimately. And your thoughts and feelings, we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is about conflict. This is about, it can be about arguments and conflict with others, like, difficult conversations. But this can also be like an internal conflict. Maybe you're feeling conflicted because it's hard for you to be optimistic. Or there could be like conflict, with others as far as you starting over, taking this new beginning, right? When you walk away from people, places, and things, sometimes that energy doesn't like that and they want to attach to you, or they want to tell you, you can't do these things, whatever it is, right? That conflicting mentalities, conflicting opinions here. But there is some kind of conflict, and it very much could be internal or it could be with others, right? But that's in your feelings right now. You could be, again, feeling conflicted about maybe how to move forward or how this is going to work out. But again, that's you needing to surrender and release that, because that part is up to spirit, right? You manifest and you take the actions you need to, and then trust your intuition, trust yourself. So in your environment, the influence is the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles is about putting in that hard work and then being patient and letting things come to fruition, right? So this person has planted this seed, and now he is sitting here watching everything come to fruition, right? Like he's tending to the soil, he's pruning the bushes, doing all the work that he needs to do in order for things to grow. So again, like I was just saying, spirit does the rest and you do the work that you can, right? What you can control is what you do. You put in that work, that time, those details. When those plants come to fruition, or when or however big they are, is not really up to you, right? That's up to the soil. That's up to the divine timing of things. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is, right? The divine timing. So, this is very much about you putting in the hard work and staying patient, staying focused, and then things will come to fruition, right? Just because you can't see them yet doesn't mean they're not coming in. It's just being patient in order for them to come together. And you could also be like, with that card, I always think of like looking at things like, is it worth your energy? Is it worth putting in all of this work and this time? And I feel like if you're going through some kind of rebirth or wanting some kind of new beginning, then it is worth the effort, right? It's worth putting in that work and being patient, because that's what's going to help things to last, that grounded, stable energy. So in your hopes and fears, we have the World card. And the World card is about cycles again, right? Like ending cycles. This is some kind of completion of a cycle, and then the rewards and fulfillment from that cycle, right? So the Fool is the beginning of the major arcana and the World is the end. So you've been through all of these lessons. You have learned things. And again, you're taking these with you into this new cycle, but releasing the pain from that, right? So like example, if this is about you walking away from a job or a relationship, right? That's painful and you want to heal from that. You just don't want to take all of the negative with you, right? Accept the lesson for what it is. Understand that, these things happen, that you can't always take people, places, and things with you into the next cycle. It's not meant to be, right? So again, just surrendering, letting spirit kind of handle the details of things, but you heal and then move into that new cycle. There's one that is complete and you're moving into a new one. And I feel like that's what you're hopeful for. I always see this as like a portal too, like the circle, and you're kind of stepping through this portal into a new timeline, which goes very well with the Wheel of Fortune, because it's all about those cycles, right? So you're moving into a whole new cycle and stepping into a new timeline, right? So this could be a job, this could be a relationship, this could just be you being more independent, changing your mindset, walking away from a way of being. It doesn't even have to be involve another person. This can just be like an internal, especially with this Five of Swords here, this internal conflict. you could have conflict with others, but this can just be like a whole internal transformation and releasing of, ideas or the way things should be, and tapping more into your spiritual practice. So the potential outcome here is the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is about that lack mindset, limiting beliefs, focusing on the things that you don't have, right? Resources, time, money, energy. You just feel physically and financially depleted. But the reverse of this is moving on and moving away from any, like, maybe financial challenges or experiences that have been lingering, right? Those lingering fears of falling back into hardship or falling back into negative patterns, and really focusing again, like, on your intuition, your spiritual practice, your connection with the divine. I feel like you've been feeling very disconnected, and it's time for you to get connected again and be optimistic about where things are going, right? Because when you go through hard cycles, it's really tough to stay positive, and it's really tough to focus on the good things that could come in, right? So again, like, this is a lack mindset. You want to get out of that mindset. I feel like this is you moving on from that with the potential outcome, like finding solutions, overcoming challenges, and then healing that mindset, right? Because that is very much about moving on. And then you have the Eight of Cups, which is about walking away. So you could have been holding yourself back by not trusting yourself and your intuition. And then this is you healing from that and moving on and entering a new cycle, right? Healing some kind of mindset, because you have the Three of Swords and Five of Pentacles, both about healing and moving on. So I really love that. I mean, you've definitely been through a difficult situation, but I see you releasing all of that and stepping into a whole new beginning. I feel like it's just about trusting your intuition and reconnecting with yourself and your inner knowing. Maybe even working on your spiritual practice, right? Meditation, journaling, those help me so much. And then, even talking to your guides or talking to spirit, whoever it is that you work with, right? I feel like that's very important right now. But I feel like that reconnection just needs to happen because you're moving into a whole new cycle. I feel like you just need to trust it, and again, that's hard to do when you've been through a tough cycle, but that's closing out now. Like, that Wheel of Fortune is things starting to move in your favor. You got the World. You're closing out some kind of karmic cycle here and going through a rebirth. So I really love this. I think you're moving into a really healthy, really good time. I hope that message helped, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.